Hey everyone, and welcome back. Ever find yourself listening to a song and you're just like, whoa, how did they do that? Like, who actually makes this magic happen?
Right.
Well, today we're going deep into the world of music production to find out what those masterminds, the music producers actually do.
Yeah.
Because it's more than just, hanging out in a dark studio.
Oh, way more. Yeah, it's way more than that.
So we've got some really cool excerpts from RoleCatcher.com.
Okay.
They're a career platform that has a ton of insights on, different careers. But they have this thing called the Career Guide, Music Producer. And let me tell you, it really breaks down this whole career path.
Okay.
And, you might think it's all about knowing how to use all the equipment, all that kind of stuff. But it actually starts with this. And this is a quote. Music producers are responsible for acquiring music to be published. They listen to demos of songs and determine whether they are good enough to be published. Music producers oversee the production of records and manage the technical aspects of recording and editing. So I thought that was interesting. What do you think?
Yeah, no, it definitely highlights a side of it that most people don't consider, right? Like, there's this whole, business acumen that's needed, you know?
Yeah.
Like, they have to negotiate contracts. They have to understand, licensing agreements for, if they're using parts of other songs. These are, make it or break it skills in the industry, for sure.
Yeah, it's like they're like creative entrepreneurs.
Totally.
That's a good way to put it, yeah. And speaking of skills, this is what I thought was really cool. The functions and core abilities section blew my mind a little bit.
Okay, how so?
Because you've got the, kind of the obvious ones, active listening and critical thinking, but then, bam, coordination is in there. Negotiation, even management of personal resources. I was like, whoa.
Well, I mean, it makes sense, though, when you think about it, right?
Right.
Because a producer isn't just working with sound waves.
Right.
They're working with people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're wrangling musicians, they're managing studio time, dealing with those, inevitable, personality clashes.
Oh, yeah.
That takes some serious people skills.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And the guide even broke it down by percentage.
Okay.
And active listening was 57%, which I thought was really telling about this role.
Yeah.
It's not just about hearing, it's about understanding.
Exactly. And, a producer might be working with an artist who has this raw, undefined vision, and they need to be able to translate that into musical terms and figure out what instruments, what sounds, what kind of vibe will actually capture that essence.
Yeah.
It's almost like being a musical therapist in a way.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, so forget the therapist couch. Picture this. You're in a recording studio.
Okay.
The clock is ticking.
Yeah.
You've got musicians, maybe they're a little on edge. Maybe you've got a temperamental guitar amp.
Right.
Coordination at 57% also makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. You got to be incredibly organized. You got to be able to manage all these moving parts, handle those unexpected hiccups that always come up.
Totally.
But all while keeping the creative energy flowing,
Right.
A blown fuse shouldn't derail an entire session.
Yeah, totally. Talk about thinking on your feet.
Totally, yeah.
And they say musicians are the high maintenance ones, but this is fascinating stuff. We're getting a real behind the scenes peek at what makes this career tick.
Totally.
Okay, so you've got the skills, you've got the temperament, you've stocked up on coffee.
Yeah.
Where do you even begin in a career like this?
Well, it's kind of like learning any complex craft, You start as an apprentice, and the RoleCatcher Guide actually lays this out,
Okay.
They have these music producer career stages.
Okay.
And that entry-level phase is all about just soaking up knowledge. You are the assistant. You're the fly on the wall in the recording sessions.
Okay.
Maybe even grabbing those emergency coffees,
Oh, yeah. Hopefully they at least have oat lattes in the music biz. But so you're saying those early gigs, even if they're not glamorous, that's where the real learning happens.
Absolutely, yeah. You're observing how experienced producers interact with artists.
Okay.
How they troubleshoot those technical issues. How they handle the pressure of deadlines and those creative differences,
Yeah.
It's like a master class that you're getting paid pennies for.
Oh, yeah. Talk about tuition fees. So you pay your dues, you learn the ropes, you work your way up. What's the end game look like?
So as you gain experience, you build a name for yourself. You start to get more creative control, more responsibility. Eventually, you could be the one shaping the sound of an entire record label.
Wow.
Discovering and nurturing new talent.
Okay, now that sounds like a dream job, being the person who like discovers the next big thing.
Right. And it's not just about finding talent.
Right.
It's about nurturing it, you know?
Yeah.
Like a senior music producer might work with an artist for years, helping them hone their sound,
Wow.
guiding them through that creative process,
Mm-hmm.
even like acting as a mentor.
So you need that artistic vision, the
Yeah.
technical chops, the people skills, and a bit of a sixth sense for like spotting potential in people.
Yeah, precisely. And you can't underestimate the importance of building relationships in this industry.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Networking is key, which is something that RoleCatcher talks about a lot, you know?
It's all about who you know,
Yeah.
right? But in a way that feels genuine, I imagine.
Exactly. Yeah,
Not just transactional, you know?
exactly. And that's where those soft skills come in handy again.
Mhm.
Like building trust with artists, understanding their vision, creating a collaborative environment. Those are all crucial for long-term success.
That makes sense, but let's be real. Even with all the talent and connections in the world,
Mm-hmm.
breaking into the music industry is, like, notoriously tough.
Oh, for sure.
Like, everyone and their dog seems to want to be a producer these days.
Yeah, it seems like it's very trendy, so that's where having a killer portfolio comes in.
Okay.
RoleCatcher really emphasizes that, showcasing your capabilities. It's
Okay.
true.
Yeah.
You need to be able to, like, demonstrate your skills in a way that's tangible. You know what I mean?
For sure.
It's not enough to just say you're a great producer. Got to have the goods to back it up.
Yeah. It's like you're building a brand, but for your ears.
Exactly.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
But how do you even get your foot in the door to build that portfolio?
Right.
Because it feels like a catch-22, right? Like you need experience to get hired, but you need to get hired to get experience.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's where I think tools like RoleCatcher can be incredibly helpful,
Okay.
especially for those just starting out.
Okay.
They use AI in some really interesting ways.
Okay. How so?
Okay, so imagine this. You're a budding music producer fresh out of school. Maybe you have a few self-produced tracks under your belt.
Mm-hmm.
You're ready to take on the world, but your resume is a little thin.
Okay. Yeah, I'm feeling that anxiety already. Been there, done that.
So imagine having an AI tool that helps you identify relevant skills from your experience.
Okay.
Maybe even highlights projects that you've done that demonstrate those skills in a way that aligns with, like, industry expectations.
Okay, that's pretty slick.
Right?
So instead of just sending out like a generic resume and hoping for the best,
Mm-hmm.
you've got this AI assistant helping you tailor it like to the opportunity.
Exactly. And it goes beyond just resumes, too.
Okay.
They have the thing called RoleCatcher Copilot AI
Okay.
that helps you prepare for interviews. It, like, analyzes your responses, gives you personalized feedback,
Oh, cool.
even simulates mock interviews with potential questions you might get asked.
Wow. So even if you're someone who gets like totally tongue-tied in interviews,
Right.
you can practice beforehand and get feedback without like the pressure of a real person staring you down.
Exactly. Exactly. And let's be honest, the music industry is all about first impressions.
Oh, yeah.
Being able to articulate your skills, your
Yeah.
vision, your passion
Yeah.
in a clear and confident way is crucial, especially in those early stages of your career.
It's like they say, you never get a second chance to make a first impression.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about the importance of building a portfolio, networking, nailing those interviews, but let's not forget the heart of it all, the music.
Right.
And you mentioned this earlier, a producer needs to be able to connect with an artist's vision.
Yes.
And that seems like it could be kind of like tricky territory, you know?
Yeah.
Yes.
Tricky. Oh, absolutely. And remember that stat about active listening? It's
Mhm.
not just like deciphering lyrics, you know. It's about understanding the artist's soul. Like,
Mhm.
what message are they trying to convey?
Right.
What emotions are they pouring into their music?
Yeah.
And a producer helps shape that raw talent into a polished sound.
hmm
But they also have to be so respectful of the artist's vision.
It's like being a musical midwife.
Oh, I love that.
Like you're helping birth these creative babies into the world.
Yes, that's such a good analogy. It really captures the essence of the collaboration. And just like with any birth, you know,
Right.
there can be complication.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
RoleCatcher actually included this great question in their interview prep section.
Okay, what is it?
How do you navigate conflicts or creative differences with artists or other team members during the production process?
Ooh, that is a loaded question. Talk about like conflict resolution skills.
Oh, it's bound to come up. Like, imagine you're working with an artist who's convinced that, like, a certain track is the next big hit, but you're hearing something totally different.
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe two band members have conflicting visions for a song.
Right.
That's where a producer needs to, like, step in, mediate, and find a compromise
Oh, totally.
that both serves the music while respecting everyone's creative input.
It's that whole art versus commerce dilemma, right? Like, you want to create something that's authentic and meaningful,
Right.
but it also has to be, like, commercially viable.
Exactly. And a good producer understands that balance.
Yeah.
They know when to push an artist out of their comfort zone and when to trust their instincts.
Yeah.
It's a delicate dance, but when it works, it's pure magic.
Speaking of magic, let's talk about the future of this magical world.
Okay.
So we've got the skills, we've got the drive, we've even got AI lending a helping hand these days, right?
Yeah.
So what does the landscape look like for, like, aspiring music producers these days?
Well, RoleCatcher points to some, like, really interesting trends.
Okay.
On the tech front, we're seeing just incredible advancements in music software and hardware.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, you no longer need $1 million studio to create professional-sounding music.
Right, because bedroom producers are a thing now.
Exactly.
But if everyone's a producer these days, how do you stand out from the crowd?
Well, that's the challenge, isn't it? And that's where those core skills we were talking about, the listening, the communication, the relationship building, those become even more crucial. You know, technology can enhance the process.
For sure.
But it's the human connection that truly elevates the music.
Totally. And I imagine with more artists going independent these days, that changes things too.
Absolutely. Platforms like Spotify and Bandcamp have really empowered artists to kind of take control of their own careers, you know, which means that they may not need a big record label in the same way that they used to. And this creates, like, these really exciting opportunities for producers to work directly with artists.
Yeah.
But it demands a more entrepreneurial spirit.
Totally. So it's not just about knowing the music, it's knowing the business too, right?
Yes.
You've got to be adaptable, resourceful.
For sure.
Maybe even a little bit fearless to, like, make it in this ever-evolving industry, right?
Well said.
Yeah.
The music industry will always need those passionate individuals who can, like, shape raw sound into something that moves us, inspires us, makes us feel alive.
You know, totally. And who knows, maybe with a little help from AI and a whole lot of hustle, our listeners might just be the one discovering and shaping the next big thing.
There you go.
And if anyone listening is ready to kind of dive deeper into this world themselves, RoleCatcher seems like a really great place to, like, explore the tools and resources that can help them on their journey.
Absolutely.
Well, that's a wrap on another deep dive.
This is fun.
We hope you enjoyed this, like, little journey into the heart of music production.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And if you'll excuse me, I've got a sudden urge to go make some noise.
As do I. Until next time.